Rip City, what's going on? We are back for it's been like 3 weeks. We've been a little holidays came in, but we're back. We have a very, very, very special guest. We've been waiting on this. We've been excited for this. Uh, if you're watching on YouTube right now, you guys are already seeing it. It's Coach Jonathan Yim. A lot of you guys can probably remember him back from I think it was like 2012 to 2021. Does that sound about right, John?
Yep, that's right.
He did the video coordinating for a while, and then he also was like a player development coach, which I'm really excited to talk about some of that stuff. Um, and then I think you also did some stuff in the G League too, right?
Yeah, after the Blazers.
After the Blazers. So first and foremost, we Fawad and I both want to just say thank you for coming on the podcast, talking with us. We're so excited to have you here. And we're just kind of going to jump right into it. We don't want to steal too much of your time, so we're going to hop in here. The first question I have for you is just like, what, how was your time in Portland? How was the whole? I know you have such a long history of being with, I think it was the Clippers before, and then coming to Portland. So how was your time with Portland?
My time was really good in Portland, honestly. Like, we were pretty good when I was there. We made the playoffs all 8 straight years. Um, the organization was just great. They treated us really well, me and my family. They were very welcoming. And then, to be honest, I just really fell in love with the city as well. Um, when I first moved out, when I got the job in Portland, it was kind of the first time that I had moved from California. So I couldn't imagine a better place to go than Portland and kind of, I guess, really grow up, right, as a person and also a
Sure.
basketball coach. Yeah, just Portland was great. Great, has a lot of charm, has a lot of character. Obviously, the fans are incredible. They love the Trailblazers. Um, so yeah, it was a really good experience.
Let me ask you this: since you're from California, do you miss the rain?
People ask me that all the time about the Portland rain. I always tell them it's not as bad as like I feel like it's not as bad as people like make it out to be.
That's what I'm saying.
And
I,
the thing that always like when especially early when I got there, I used to just always be like, people don't even care if it's raining. They still walk their dogs. They're still going out to getting groceries. Like they're still running errands. And I think I just kind of developed that mentality as well. Like
yep.
the rain wasn't going to stop us from doing whatever we needed to do in that day. And it really like it doesn't rain hard. It would rain, but it would like sprinkle, right? Or it just
Hmm.
kind of be like there, but it wasn't something that would deter you from going, like going out on a run or going on a hike or going out and stuff like that. So, I thought, like I said, Portland had a lot of charm to it, and I thought the rain definitely added to some of the charm that Portland had.
For sure. I mean, living in Oregon my entire life, I'm so used to it. I don't even notice that it rains that much. But then I get people that I know from like California, or I have a couple people that I know from like Florida, which Florida rains like really hard and then it just stops, and then it rains really hard and stops. And they're always saying like, "Oh, it rains so much." And to me, I'm like, it's not raining that bad. I don't know. To me, it's not that much. So I'm always curious what people think of when they come here.
When in California, because it doesn't rain as much, I had like on Spotify, I had like a playlist. It was called like my rain mix. So when it would rain, I would play it and stuff. I do remember like my first year being like, gosh darn it, like this rain mix is just getting overplayed. Like I'm sick of these songs. I do remember that. But yeah, it's not as bad as you might think it might be. So
I'm gonna guess when you were in Portland, that was probably the number one playlist you were playing. Then, if if you were using that when it was raining.
yeah, the first time that it rained, I remember I was in the video room and I played it and I was just like, oh right, the rain mix, let's go. Right? And it was like it was on repeat basically.
So you talk about moving from California to Portland. What were some of the places in Portland that you liked? One thing I want to know for sure is what's one of your favorite places to eat at? Because anytime I'm in Portland, I'm always looking for some good places to eat. So share some of that stuff with us.
Okay, so um, my favorite places in Portland were So I lived on Gleason in between 22nd and 23rd. And so like the Alphabet District was probably my favorite part in Portland.
Sure.
Um, I remember my first weekend there, I was just driving around and I somehow ended up in Washington Park. And then I came down the hill and then that was 23rd. And I was like, gosh, this place, it has like such character and it's just very vibrant and there was great energy there and just everyone was out because it was a great fall day. And I was like, I just want to live in this area, right, and be part of it and stuff like that. So that's probably my favorite part. I learned, I think, as the longer I lived there, I definitely liked the East Side too. I grew very fond of the East Side. I had some friends that lived over there as well. So Northeast really, um, I developed a love for the Northeast. For restaurants, like I love to eat, so I definitely was going out a lot to eat. My favorite restaurants, I really liked Andina, which is in the Pearl. Nostrana was one of my favorites. That's in Northeast. They had something on Thursdays, like Gnocchi Thursdays.
Oh, okay.
I would go to, but they made great pizzas, pastas. The Nostrana salad was one of my favorite. Bamboo sushi.
Oh, now we're talking.
Yeah. After games, we really liked. It's on Burnside. What? Yeah, Ringside Steakhouse.
Okay.
So we used to really like Ringside. I thought that they had the best happy hour at the time. You could get like a really nice French dip for like $1. Yeah, like $1. It was great.
That's a deal right there.
Yeah. So like those are kind of like Polo Norte was another place that I really liked. And then there's a Cao Mengao spot right there. She started in a food cart and then she ended up having 2 restaurants.
Oh, really?
I mean, like I could just talk about food all day. We gotta talk about the Blazers.
Yeah, we don't care about the Blazers anymore. Now we're talking food. I'm trying to remember what it was called. It's a wing place and it. Oh man, that's what it is. Oh
yeah.
man. Oh, yeah. That place. That had some spicy wings though.
Yeah, that place is good too. Yeah.
Say what was it called again?
Fire on the Mountain.
I knew it had to do with something with a mountain. That's right.
I gotta note down all these places for whenever I go to Portland. I gotta try them all out.
I'll send you a list. I have a notes document on it, so I can just send you the name and it tells you who it is, like that. So yeah.
And then I had one other question. When you're in Portland, like, how do you feel compared to like traffic in California around game day? How is traffic in Portland?
For it, I think I would get frustrated about it because I was always like, why are there only 3 lanes on a freeway, right? Because in California, we got like 10, 12 lanes.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I remember talking to someone in the city about it and was like, why do you guys only have 3 lanes and stuff? And he was like, well, where do you want us to build more lanes? He's like, if we build to the right, then we're going to go into the river. And if we build to the left, we're going to go into the mountains. So he's like, where do you want the lanes to be? And when he said that, I was like, that makes a lot of sense. You know, that makes a lot of sense.
Driving from Roseburg up to Portland, it's like about a 3-hour drive. And that's always one of the things. Like once you start to get close to Portland, I'm like, oh, here comes the traffic. So I'm always curious what other people who deal with a lot more worse traffic than we do here. I'm always curious what they think of that.
People are really nice on the road, though, I have to say. Like in California, they're very aggressive.
Yeah.
So like they won't let you in, they won't let you over, all that. Like I feel like in Portland or in Oregon especially, like they're a lot more accommodating and friendlier when they drive. There's probably not much of everyone in California seems like they're always in a rush to get somewhere.
Always, yep. So let's transition into some Blazer memories, some Blazer moments. I'm gonna let Fawad take the next question here. I've asked you like 12. I feel bad. So Fawad, go ahead and take it away.
No worries. Let's just start off with something broad. You know, like what are some of your favorite memories from the Blazers?
Man, I have a lot. So
it was a good era that you were there.
Yes, yeah, very good.
You know, I think so. Like on the court, my favorite memories. So like we can just kind of start, and I can kind of go by the years, I guess even. So Dame's shot against Houston was definitely probably my first like big moment memory that I have. Well, no, because Damon made 2 game-winning shots that season, one in Cleveland and one in Detroit,
Mm-hmm.
back-to-back games, and
Yep.
like that's when I was like, dang, he's pretty good, right? So, the Houston shot, though, for me, that was a big moment because I was in the video room and, um, you have to prepare for the next opponent, right? And so the next opponent was either going to be San Antonio or Dallas. So we didn't know who it was going to be because they were going to game 7. So, it's like you got to prepare all this stuff and you got to be ready. And now when Chandler Parsons made the layup with
Mm-hmm.
point 6, right? I was like, oh my goodness, now we got to go to Houston and we got to pack for like a week because we might be on the road again. And we like all these things was going through my head, right? And then Dame hit the shot, and we all in the video room were just like, what just happened? And we looked at each other, and everyone was like just happy because we didn't have to go back to Houston, right? And now we had 3 days to kind of get ready for the next opponent and kind of figure it out. So that was a special moment for sure.
And if I recall right, that play wasn't even drawn up for that, correct? Do you remember this at all?
Yeah, it was supposed to go to LaMarcus.
Okay,
But
that's what I thought.
Dame said like that someone was supposed to guard Dame and Dame read it. Like I think maybe like Patrick Beverly was supposed to take Dame and like Chandler Parsons ended up switching or something like that, or there was a mix up and he kind of recognized that. And so that's why he sprinted to the ball. And then Nico just threw him a great pass. And then Dame, it's funny because Dame always kind of seams the ball when he's about to shoot. And that's the only time he says that he didn't seam the ball. He just let it go. So I thought that was kind of different. And then, yeah, obviously the OKC shot was incredible. I was behind the bench at the time, and everyone stood up, and I couldn't see what was happening. And so I was like, I'm gonna stand on the chair, but then I forget who stood on a chair, and then they fell through the chair on a game-winning shot, and like they got hurt. It was on our team too. I forget who it was, but something like that happened. So I actually moved to the front so I could get a better angle of it, and I thought I was there for like a minute, but it was probably only like 3 or 4 seconds, right? So because he's just dribbling, and then when the shot went in, obviously, I was jumping up and down. I was running toward the dog pile, and then I was like, wait a second, coaches can't jump in the dog pile, I like ran, and I think I got to the free throw line, and then I started running backwards.
Can I ask you a question about that?
Yeah.
About that whole game, essentially.
Yeah.
That's the game where Nurk for the first time came back to the arena for the first time, correct?
Yeah.
I remember watching it because I wasn't there, unfortunately. I remember watching it and being like, this is like the crowd is going crazy. Like, this is absolutely insane. And then for him to hit it. So I'm curious, like, with you being there, and especially with you being like right on the court, what was that like when Nurk came out for the first time and the crowd saw him and everything?
Yeah, I think it gave everyone a lift, right? Because the last time we saw Nurk, he was on the floor in front of our basket, and he broke his fibula and tibia, right? So, that for him to kind of be there, I think the crowd really got excited about that. And with like 8 minutes to go in the fourth, and the crowd just, started cheering, and you could see our guys kind of look at Nurk, and like they just, I mean, they were everyone loved Nurk.
Yeah.
So it was a really cool moment to be there at that time.
And if I remember right, we were losing when he showed up, correct? And then we just made this.
We were down by double digits.
Mm-hmm.
And so that definitely provided everyone with the spark and the jolt they needed, because I mean, Dame and CJ want to win all the time, but I think human nature would say like, we were up 3-1, right? So it's like, okay, we have, if we drop this one, it's okay because we had already won in OKC. Maybe it's the mentality like, oh, we can go back and win and stuff like that. And I think that just really like I said, it just really inspired us and really motivated us and to just kind of complete the job or the mission there.
Yep.
And then the way that it happened was just so magical and
Mm-hmm.
is yeah, that was definitely probably a top moment for me.
This is an important question for you. Was it a bad shot?
No, because he takes those shots at practice all the time.
100%.
You know, so yeah, it's he practices that. He's done it his entire career. It's funny because I think that season he hit a similar shot against the Lakers.
On Brandon Ingram.
Yeah, on Brandon Ingram. I think
Mm-hmm.
it was the same that year too.
I think it
And
was.
it wasn't as far, but you know, he definitely is capable of making that shot. And he
Yep.
does it with such ease that to me, I don't think it's a bad shot. So
I mean, I think if you ask most Portland fans, it wasn't a bad shot. We were totally we live and die by that, and we were fine with that. And to make it, and that whole series was such a fun series. And you have Westbrook and Dame chirping at each other, and it's just that was one of the most fun series to watch.
the funny thing too is I don't know if you remember, but we were not favored to win that series.
Yeah.
You know, because we lost to OKC 4 straight times during the regular season. So there was definitely that added motivation as well, because we, you know, they had our number all year. And, you know, I remember feeling pretty good. Ennis Cantor, you know, he had played a
Yes.
heck of a game one. He made some like crazy left-handed layup.
That was the one where you went like that.
Yeah, right. Like to kind of clinch the game of game one. After that, I was like, okay, I feel like, you know, the luck's going to be with us a little bit more and stuff like that. And Dame was just on a mission. And I think like he's shown out throughout his career that when he's determined and he's motivated, like there's not many people
Mm-hmm.
that can definitely stop him.
And I think that's also the series where it's one of my favorite like pictures and moments is when he was doing the like dropping bombs. I don't even know how to explain it. I mean, that
What was
was
it? It was,
he hit like
he
two or
said
three
something.
threes,
Yeah.
and he said dropping bombs. I think is what he said. I love that moment right there. That was one of my favorite moments.
I think he
Yeah,
said bombs away.
Or yeah, bombs away. Yeah, that's what it was.
Russ missed a shot. He guarded Russ.
Yep.
Russ
Yeah.
missed a shot, and then he came down and hit the three in front of him. And then, yeah,
Getting
he
all
did that.
fired
That
up
was,
thinking about it.
That was such
yeah,
a fun series, man. That moment specifically is like one of my favorite day moments too.
yeah.
And something we're going to talk about in a little bit, and if you want to talk about it right now, we can. One of my all-time favorite Blazer players is Wesley Matthews. I absolutely love that man. And when he tore his Achilles, like that crushed me just because I love Wesley Matthews. But I also felt like that team, that core that we had there, was one of our best opportunities at competing for a championship. So that entire time frame you'd been there, was that one of the teams you felt like could win a championship? And was there other teams you felt like could win a championship? Or at least compete, like seriously compete for a championship?
Yeah, that team definitely, I think that was the first time we kind of went into the year where I was like, dang, we have a really good shot to win a championship. Because we were really good that year. The year before we'd gone to the second round. So I felt like that gave us some playoff experience as a group, right? And we, Neil made a great trade, or you know, I guess it's debatable now, but like he made a trade to like kind of really go for it by getting Aaron Aflalo,
Yep.
right? And I felt like we had the depth and we had the experience and we had this. You know, we played Golden State really tough that year. That was, I think, Golden State won the title that year for their first title, and so I think we were 2-2 with Golden State that year. There weren't a lot of teams that could match us physically, you know, with LaMarcus and Robin, and then obviously with the guard play of Wes and Dame, and then you had Nico who could do it all, and you had Steve Blake and Chris Kaman coming off the bench,
Yes.
you know, and Joel Freeland, and then CJ was kind of coming into his own as well. So like that. I remember being after All-Star break and just kind of having a sense like we were all just kind of waiting for the playoffs to start.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like I don't want to say that we were bored, but it's just like, okay, we know what the sprint we're sprinting toward, and
Hmm.
we have a really good shot at this. So yeah, when Wes went down, I think he was really the heart and soul of that team, that group for those at least the 2 years that I was there with them.
Yep.
And yeah, and Aflalo ended up being hurt. He ended up being hurt during the playoffs, and we just Memphis was really good too that year. I think they
Yeah.
beat us in 5, and they were a tough matchup for us, and so that was
It's
yeah.
it's very unfortunate timing for everything to happen.
Because when West got hurt, I feel like we were the second seed in the West too.
Hmm. We
So
were.
yeah, we were right there. Um, I think we dropped to 5, maybe 5 or 6. So because we didn't have home court in that first round.
Yeah, I think it was 5. I think
Yeah,
that sounds about right. Yeah, that was.
I I feel like I could be remembering wrong, but I think we were technically the fourth seed because they had like the division thing, but we didn't have home court because the five
yeah.
seed had a better record. So I
Okay.
think that was that year.
Yep. Yep. That's
That
good.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Sorry, we kind of got sidetracked there on your favorite moments. Do you have any other moments you wanted to talk about?
Um, off the court, I think that some of the things that maybe people don't really see or hear about. I think that there were a lot of great off the court moments. I just really think that the entire team and organization during that time was really special.
Hmm.
And some off the court things or, just or team things that I thought were great was, um, let's see, what year would it have been? 14, 15, I think. It was the year after LaMarcus and Rock. We got basically a whole new unit.
Hmm.
And Chris came and stayed. He was kind of a holdover from the previous year, but he didn't really play that much. And one of my favorite moments was it was his birthday. So as tradition, what you do is you have the rookies sing happy birthday to everybody, or I guess to whoever's birthday it is. And our assistant general manager thought we should sing something different than happy birthday because it was Cayman. So they sang Stand By Me.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
So it was kind of like a production almost, right? Where we had like Pat Connaughton started it, and then another rookie came, and then another rookie came and started singing, and what I thought was really cool was um, toward the middle where the chorus line is and stuff. Everyone kind of jumped in and started singing,
Like the
like
whole
the
team did.
whole team and the
Gotcha.
staff and stuff. We were in the theater and stuff. So like that was like a very cool moment where I just remember it and I'm just like, that's different. I don't know how many teams would sing Stand By Me to one of their players, you know? Um,
Was there a reason why they sang that?
no, it was just like I said, it's because it was his birthday,
Gotcha.
and so it was just different. Like I thought that was different, and I think that showed the character of the players that we had there at the time, that they were willing to do that, and
Hmm.
and I also think it shows how much they thought of Cayman as well.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, Trying to think of some other ones.
I
I
think
mean,
some of that came across too, because as fans, like I felt like those teams were very like tight knit, and it came across that you guys were very closer than most other teams I've seen. And I also have one more question, if you're okay talking about
yeah,
it. You had the accident in I think it was 2019,
yeah,
and then there was that picture or video of Noah Vonleh coming in, like he was with you when it happened. So is it okay if you talk about that a little bit?
yeah, sure. So yeah, I was in a car accident. So after Dame shot, right? Because we had some time off. My family was in town, and so we went to lunch, and then we went to Multnomah Falls, so that we could just. They were leaving the next day, so they just wanted to go see some things, and we
Mhm.
had dinner that night. So I was like, let's just go to the falls, and then we can come back for dinner. And so on our way back, we got into a car accident, um, and it was pretty. Um, Yeah, it was a big accident. So,
Mhm.
honestly, when you look at pictures of the car, um, we were lucky to be alive.
Wow.
So, yeah, so I was in the hospital for three weeks, I think, 20 something days maybe. And Noah, I have a really close relationship with Noah, and Noah was in town because during the off season, his sister and mom still lived in Portland, so he would come back and stay with them. So Noah came and visited me, and the doctor actually cleared me that day to go outside for like one of the first times. And
Hmm.
so since Noah was there, Noah was like, I'll push you out, and take you around and stuff, and let you go outside to uh, breathe in the fresh air and feel the sunlight, for the first time in a number of weeks. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of how that happened.
I think that's really cool, especially because I don't think he was on the team at the time, right? He still came out to see you.
Yeah, he was on the Knicks that year.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And how are you doing? Like since the accident, you're perfect now, or?
I don't know if I'd say I'm perfect. Yeah, like I think physically I can do a lot of the,
Okay.
I can walk and I can do all those things. At the time I wasn't really big into triathlon. So I had done a few Ironman and a couple of these races and stuff like that. And I was really training very hard. Just being a competitor, I wanted to try to win an Ironman. So,
Mm.
I was really training to do that. Unfortunately, due to kind of the injuries that I had and stuff like that, I haven't been able to like I can't run for long distances anymore. My
Oh, okay.
leg ends up hurting. I broke my leg and arm, fractured my neck and stuff like that. So there's a lot of different things where I just have to be more mindful of. I am getting older too, so you know, so I haven't like physically. I'm probably like I'm good, right? Like, I feel good. It just athletically, I guess I'm not able to
Mm.
do certain things that I was able to do in the past because it just hurts or I get hurt again or just not able to do it. So yeah,
Oh, okay. Well, we're glad to hear that you're at least recovered as much as you have.
yeah. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah, very much so. And if I remember correctly, everyone was wearing bow ties like a week after it had happened, if I remember right. I feel like I remember seeing a game where everyone was wearing a bow tie because you wore bow ties. I don't know if it was all the time or just sometimes.
Yeah. So I it's um it's funny because everyone kind of knows me as like this bow tie guy now, right? I was like, it's not that big of a deal. I wore a bow tie for one game, and then maybe like a couple months later, I wore a bow tie again, and coach or someone was like, "Why are you wearing a bow tie?" And I was like, "It's because it's bow tie Wednesday, you know." So I was like, on Wednesday games, I just decided to wear a bow tie because the first game was on a Wednesday, and the second, so it just happened that like that year, we had like 9 Wednesday games, and I just had to wear a bow tie 9 times, right? So that's kind of how that happened. It just kind of happened organically. I don't think I was planning for it, and then I was just trying to justify why I was wearing a bow tie. I just made up something, right? And then all of a sudden, it's like if you say it, you got to stick to it, right? Because
Yeah.
everyone's gonna hold you to it. And so yeah, I started wearing bow ties on Wednesday, and then game 2 of the playoff series against Denver fell on a Wednesday, and so the coaching staff, um, they wore a bow tie for that game.
Now I'm gonna have to wear a bow tie tomorrow. So it's bow tie Wednesday tomorrow. So everyone that's listening, bow tie Wednesday is a thing. You heard it here first.
You want?
We should have worn a bow tie today.
So I don't know how to tie a bow tie. That's what's
Are,
crazy.
were they
But
clip-ons?
no, so they were real bow ties, but
Okay.
Coach Stotts knew how to tie a bow tie. So he ended up having to tie my bow ties every Wednesday. So when we were getting ready for the game, we'd be there, and I would have to go to his office, and I'd be like, "All right, coach, let's do it."
That is
And so he
awesome.
would tie my bow tie, and he ties it perfectly, like just absolutely perfectly.
Does he wear bow ties? I mean, he seems like a guy that would wear bow ties.
Yeah, he's worn a bow tie a few times. Yeah,
That's awesome.
throughout when we were there, he would wear a bow tie every once in a while. Yeah,
That is
I
awesome.
loved Coach Stotts too.
yeah.
Do you
He
have any
was go
like
for it,
do
Vaughn.
you have any good do you have any interesting stories about him by any chance?
No, I just grabbed dinner with him.
Like recently?
Yeah,
Oh,
about a week
nice.
and a half ago. He was, he's with Golden State now, so they were playing the
Hmm.
Clippers, and we were able to kind of share a meal together and just talk. And he means a great deal to me. He's a mentor. He's a great friend to me. Um, I'm really thankful for him and Neil for giving me an opportunity. My first real job in the NBA. So there's definitely always going to be a sense of loyalty and um, just being thankful and blessed, to him uh,
Hmm.
because of it. So, you know, coach is definitely a father figure to me and someone that I hold very high regard. And trying to think of like some coach stories, I guess. Um, he was the thing that I really appreciate about coach was like my first couple years, I messed up a lot in the video room. Like it was my first time being a head video coordinator. Um, yeah, I messed up a lot, and he was very gracious, and he was very like I couldn't imagine working for someone better. Like I've heard from other people how they video guys if you mess up, they get yelled at and berated and stuff like that. And coach never did that to me. He's very fair, um, and he really gave me an opportunity to really grow just as a basketball coach too, which I'm very appreciative. At the time, even as a video guy, like he gave me scouts, he gave me players to work out. Um, you know, he didn't have to do that. A lot of other video guys didn't have that responsibilities and stuff. And um, it really helped me and gave me confidence, that I could definitely coach at this level.
Hmm.
And yeah, he always had my back. So those are kind of the things that always just stick out when I think about Coach Stotts, right? He's funny. Like he is funny. Like
He is.
he does have a sense of humor. Um, I really always liked it when like a preseason game. I think in 2019 when we played at Memorial Coliseum against the
Hmm.
Nuggets, he decided to dress like retro, like 70s, and he had
Yep.
all the coaches dress that way. So like just different things like that. I think made him unique and special. Um, the other thing is he really loved Portland. Like he really loved Portland. Even after we were let go, he stayed in Portland for an extra year. And, because he really enjoyed his time when he was there.
Yeah. Do you talk to any of the former players? I know you said you're close with Noah. Was there any other players that you still talk to?
Yeah, I mean, I talked to a good amount of players. Um, Obviously, Dane and CJ, I'll message them every once in a while. Um, Ed Davis, Noah, Mason, Ennis, Nick Stauskas, even Scal. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think who else. um, I'm just trying to think of all the players that I invited to my wedding. So Myers, Mason, Plumley, Chris Kaman, right? Nurk, Nasir, Ant, and then the coaches and stuff. We're all on a group text and stuff.
Sure.
So we wish each other happy holidays and happy birthdays and all those things.
Now,
That's cool.
when so you were at for a while you were a player development coach. How often or did you ever just play like one-on-one against the guys or, have little competitions? I have to imagine at some point you probably did.
No, because I'm not good enough. Like I know my strengths and weaknesses, right? Like they're not going to get anything by playing one on one against me. Now I would shoot against them, right? Like if we could go shooting games or something like that, right?
Sure, sure.
Like
Hmm.
pre-practice, yeah. With Steve Blake would want to play like a shooting game or something, and maybe free throw contest with Ed or something, right?
Hmm.
Um, I do know that it was either my first, I think it was my first year in Portland. So across from the practice facility is like Bay Club. It used to be Club Sport.
Okay, yep.
It's a gym and it has like 3 courts in it, and there's runs there and stuff. So I do know that I remember that I would go there, and Will Barton came with me one time to play. So Will wasn't playing a lot that year, so he was looking for extra run, and he came.
Sure.
And he just came, and people didn't know, like, he's doing 360 tomahawk dunks, like in transition, right? Like he's pulling back. They're like, "Who is this guy?" Like, it's Will Burton, you know. So like
Yeah.
that's kind of the extent of probably me playing with them.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Fawad, did you have any other questions for John?
Sure. So this was something that you mentioned to us earlier as well, but how was that experience kind of the end of your tenure? Wasn't, I think, I'm trying to word this in a nice way, but like I think it was kind of a disappointing ending. So how was it dealing with that as a team?
Yeah, I think we were all disappointed. You know, I think we all had high hopes for that year. Um, you know, like, okay, so for me, like, I remember sitting at dinner with like Dame and CJ, and Dame always being like, "Hey, we're gonna win a championship and stuff, right?" And so, like, I really took that to heart, and I really wanted to do that with them, because you know, like, these are my friends, and we've been together for so long and stuff like that. And so, you know, for us to fall short and then to get kind of, I guess what you're saying is like maybe fired or let go, right? Like that was very, very difficult for me, you know. Um, I remember after the next season, you know, I ended up coming down and working in the G League with the Lakers and stuff, but I would watch the games, and you know, it was basically the same team that we had last year. And it was early in the year, and Dame made a great shot, and the crowd's going wild at the Moda Center. And it's like a Friday night, and you know, like it's a big win for them. And I actually got really jealous, honestly, you know, because I was like, I miss kind of being there, you know, in those moments and stuff.
Sure.
And um, that was really, for me at least, that was really hard. And so um, it's, I don't, I don't know if, I don't know if I think I'm over it a little bit better now, you know, kind of not being there and stuff. But um, yeah, definitely a part of me still misses it and stuff.
Sure.
And the fact that, you know, we had something so special and something that we all really hold dear in our hearts. You know, there's definitely part of me that definitely misses that.
Hmm.
Wishes that we could have. I was just watching something. It's like they said something like when you win a championship, you're kind of always bonded together and stuff, right? And
Mhm.
I do feel like we were bonded together, even though we didn't win a championship. And
Sure.
like that was a tough 2 year stretch. I mean, for me, like I got in an accident, and then you know we had COVID, and then we had to go to the bubble, and then it was the next year, right, where it was kind of like a COVID year where we really couldn't do anything, and we kind of still traveling and stuff, and then you know we got knocked out in the first round and stuff like that. So it was just like a lot for everybody, and I just think that you know it was some people handled it well and some people didn't. And I probably you know didn't handle it as well as yeah. I don't
I
know.
mean, it's tough. You
Yeah,
develop relationships. You're so attached to something. It's something that you love doing. Like that would be difficult for anybody.
yeah, yeah.
You,
This
you
is
brought it. You brought it up. Oh, actually, go for it, Fawad.
Sorry. This is a little bit of a loaded question, so if you wanna skip over that, it's fine. But do you think there's anything you could have done differently that maybe would have gave us a better chance at a championship, or was that all we had? I know it's tough.
Yeah, I mean, I think so much of it just comes down to luck too,
Hmm.
right? Like, we talked about Wes getting hurt, right? If he doesn't get hurt, maybe you know we have a chance to win it then. Even the year that we went to the Western Conference Finals, like Nurk was playing incredibly.
Hmm.
So if Nurk doesn't get hurt, maybe that
Yeah.
puts us in a better situation to win it. Um, you know, so yeah, I don't. It's at the beginning of the year, I feel like every team feels like that they could potentially win it, right? And then a lot of things need to break your way.
Yep.
And unfortunately for us, they didn't break our way. So I can tell you this: we tried our best, and we definitely gave it our all, and everyone was definitely motivated to try to win a championship. I don't think we went into a single year saying like, "Oh, we're not trying to compete and trying to win." Definitely, especially with Dame. Dame always had a mindset that we were going to win. So when your leader has that mindset, and it just trickles down to everybody. And so the standard was that, and we were going to live up to that standard every single day. And yeah, we definitely tried. Just didn't break our way.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of luck involved every single year with every team. So like I still had fun. I don't care. For me, it's not a championship or bust. It's like I want to see the team give it their all, and I think that you guys did. But you mentioned the year Nurk got hurt. Personally, that was when I felt like if Nurk had been healthy, I think that was our best chance. I thought like we were so deep. The series against Denver is probably my favorite moment as a Blazers fan, especially the 4 OT game with Rodney Hood coming in. So was there anything from that series? I know you already talked about the OKC one, but any memories from either the 4 OT game or Game 7 that really stood out to you?
Well, is after, so I was in the hospital. And I remember
Oh,
watching
right.
I
Okay.
remember watching the 4 overtime game. And their doctors are trying to give me my medicine. I was like, wait, I don't want to go to bed yet, right? I gotta sleep. I want to watch this. So my friend had come from California, and he had ordered pizza too, and so we're waiting and we're just eating. So yeah, so like that. I mean, that was such a special series too. So I think that there were so many iconic moments from that series as well. Like you said, Rodney making the three in the fourth overtime, and I thought CJ was great in Game 7. And I mean,
Yes.
you forget like we had to win Game 6 too, right? At home because we were down 3-2. We had to win Game 6 and Game 7, in order to advance and stuff. And so yeah, I remember the thing that just really resonates with me too is I remember Damian coming off the court, and he just was like almost in tears,
Yes.
right? Because he had finally advanced. Because up until that point, we had been to the second round a couple times, so he had finally advanced to the conference finals, and I just see the emotion on his face and how much it meant to him as well.
Yeah.
So that was pretty cool.
And I think we had started our podcast that year, and that was actually something we talked about when that happened. Like you could tell how much it meant to him to be able to do that, to make it to the Western Conference Finals, and that is honestly one of my favorite things to see when it's like emotional watching it because you know how much it meant to him. It meant just as just it meant as much to us too. But like for Dame, doing what he's done for his whole career with us, like that moment right there was like he felt. I have to imagine he felt like a weight had been lifted off. He'd kind of made it to that next step, and that 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 was a very very cool moment there. So I'm so glad you brought that up because I totally forgot about that. One other thing you mentioned, and I totally spaced asking you about this, the bubble. You were there for that. How was that? That was insane. I mean, that the whole world was crazy at that point, but like just that whole environment, it was the first sport to kind of come back and do something like that. How was that whole environment?
It was actually really cool. Um, I didn't want to go to the bubble in the beginning. It's like you didn't know what it was going to be, and I didn't want to be away from my family and stuff like that. So I was a little skeptical in the beginning, and and I ended up really being really happy to go. It was a very, the NBA did a great job in keeping everyone safe. And it was also really cool because like I think 22 teams ended up going, and at no point in our basketball careers would other than maybe summer league, right? Would all 22 teams be there? Like, and I mean like coaches and all the players. So like I would have dinner one time with like Mason, Ed, and Noah, and Noah's he's on one team and Ed's on a different team and Mason's on a different team, and we're all sitting at dinner, right? That would never happen during the year,
Mm-hmm.
right? Um, being able to go to games and scout. So like it was almost like AAU, because we
Sure.
played like at 7:30, but then there was a 5 o'clock game, and then there's like a 3:30 game and stuff. So you could go and you could watch those games, and especially during the playoffs, it's like, when am I gonna ever watch? Like, I would never go watch Miami versus Indiana in the playoffs,
Sure.
right? It's so different. Like Houston, OKC, I'd never go there and actually watch it, right? While we're in the playoffs. So I thought that was kind of cool. Yeah, and just the entire there, I we talked about like crazy or cool moments and stuff. There's a lot of moments from the bubble that just were so unique and different that that it just sticks out, and um, it was definitely, yeah, it was a cool experience
You
for
know,
sure.
something you just said, I had never even thought about the fact that there's 22 teams all in the same area. You're like, that is true. That's such a crazy thing. I never even thought about like you're running into people that you wouldn't normally just see, and that's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I never considered that like that doesn't happen regularly.
No, like we started in the yacht club. So there was actually a tier system on what hotel you stayed at based on your record. So we started in the yacht club because we had a bad record, right? So we had to work our way up to the hotels and stuff. So the yacht club it was cool because like Neil would walk the parking lot. That was his workout and stuff. But then like Pop would be on the treadmill in the weight room, right? And then and then you'd have like the Washington guys, like Scotty Brooks was the coach there, and Tommy Shepard was the GM. They'd be in the weight room lifting, and then I'd be on the other side lifting. So like everyone, we were just all there. Like Zion walking the hallway back from his thing, right? So Sacramento is over here, and so it's so surreal because like you have all these friends on these
Hmm.
different teams, and you're all in this one place. It was pretty cool. That was pretty cool. And then
Yeah.
we played so well too. I thought that we were really, Dame was so motivated to make the playoffs. Nurk, that was the first time Nurk had come back.
Yep.
Zach Collins had been hurt pretty much all
Mhm.
year. He came back, so I thought it really showed what we could do as a team if we were fully healthy, right? And we made a great run. Every game was so, um, we were so nervous every game um, going in, and Dame was just unbelievable. I mean, he was the bubble MVP. So, um,
And what was it like playing in a stadium where there wasn't really fans?
um, it was like a high level pickup game with a lot of
That's
like,
that's perfect.
yeah. Because they had the fans like on the TVs, right? Like you could
Oh, that's
watch it
right.
on the laptop and stuff.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite photos from the bubble actually is my mom is back there, and then
Oh,
it's like my mom, and then it's just me like just sitting there. So that was a different type of thing. Yeah, so it was like a pickup game. You could hear everything, right? Like they were trash talking or if they were saying anything, you could hear
Yes.
it. Um, yeah, I thought the basketball honestly was very good. It was a very high level of basketball from everybody.
Yeah.
Um,
I have a question about that actually.
sure.
I've seen people theorize, like just fans online, that because there was no crowd and like no moving background, that's what led to the higher level of basketball. Do you think that was a factor, or maybe it was because there was no traveling, or what do you think the reason was for that?
It's 100% that.
Okay.
If you look at the numbers, uh, players shot the ball better in the bubble because there was probably no crowd and there was less distractions and stuff.
Hmm.
Hmm.
And it's funny because the next year, we didn't have fans again, and one of the guys that I was working with, that was one of the reasons I told him. I was like, I think that you should really shoot a lot more threes because there are no fans and you shot like 46% in the bubble. And so now if you shoot at a higher level like that, then your points per game go up and all these things go up. But that definitely was a big reason why I brought that to his
Hmm.
attention, was because I just felt like because there was no crowd and there's no like distractions and stuff, teams were going to shoot the ball a lot better than they had in probably history.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Interesting.
that was definitely a thing. I do think the travel definitely helped, just being all in one area and just being able to take a bus instead of getting on a plane and traveling everywhere.
Yeah.
Uh, I have a funny story from the bubble actually too. If you don't
Yeah.
mind me
Go
sharing.
for it.
For sure,
Please,
go for it.
please.
So we talked about, what were the times that I thought we could win a championship? When we
You-
beat the Lakers in game one of the playoffs, I thought we were going to win a championship because the way the Dame was playing and the way, like, I just was like, oh my goodness, we're going to win a championship, right? We're going to beat the Lakers. They're the number one seed. We're going to win. And um, then they kicked our butt. But the after game, I think it was after game 3 or 4. Um, I you were talking about, like, were there anything that we could do to help us win, right? Earlier. So in the bubble, we had this thing called a snitch line, basically, right? So you could call the line and you could report someone for doing something that wasn't right, right? And so the Laker guys, like, they're big guys, they would never wear a mask anyway. So me and some of the other staffers would take pictures of them not wearing masks, and we would report it to the snitch line so that maybe they would get suspended from
Oh my
games.
god.
Like, we were trying, we were trying to do anything we could to try to
Yes.
help us win. So I just remember being on the bus after one of the games, and, like, me and Amara and some other people, like, we're going on looking at all the photos where they're not wearing masks, and we're just sending it in, like,
Oh my
incessantly, and,
god.
like, emails like, are you guys gonna do anything about this? Like, I thought we have rules, like, we're trying to be safe, like, whatever, like, we had to do to try to help us win
That
the
is an
NBA
That's
awesome
championship.
story.
hilarious.
That is
Yeah.
amazing. And you know what? If I was in your situation, I'd do the exact same thing.
100%.
That is awesome.
That's so funny. Oh my god.
Well, Fuad, I don't have any other questions that I can think of. Did you have anything else?
Um, just is there any other off the court that's because that's what I love hearing the most, like off the court stories. Is there anything else that's really sticks out to you? You know what, I'll ask something specific. I think Melo was there while you were there as well, right? How was that
Yeah.
like seeing like an NBA legend on the team? I mean, I guess Dame is a legend too, but Melo's kind of different.
Yeah, he is different. Like, I think we talk like tiers and stuff. Like, Melo's at a whole other level. Like, people, like, love Melo. Like,
Mm-hmm.
Melo, like, I remember CJ telling me, like, Melo sets trends, right? When Melo wore a hoodie, everyone wanted to wear a hoodie,
Yep.
right? So, like, he's just at such another level, and um, we needed him. That's not, like, especially when he came to us. Like, we were so banged up. Like, that year, um, we were like, I remember we started, and no offense to him because I think he did a great job, but, like, we started, like, Anthony Tolliver at center against,
I
like,
remember
NBA
that. Hmm.
Yep.
because we didn't have anyone else because everyone else was hurt, right? And so, like, Scal got hurt and Hassan was hurt and um, Zach got hurt, like, in game 3, and so, like, we were just so banged up, and, like, we just didn't have maybe the firepower that we thought we are gonna have to start. So to add someone like him who, like, he could hoop still,
For
and
sure.
he was really good for us when he came. And then the second year when he was there, he took kind of a bench role, and he really embraced that. And I
Hmm.
thought, like, the thing that he was really good at was, like, when he spoke, people listened, because just of his experience and his um, aura that he had with him. So he was incredible with the younger guys, for Nasir and Anthony Simons and Gary Trent, and, at the time Jalen Horde was a two-way, and Moses Brown and stuff like that. So,
Yep.
like, he did a great job of just kind of taking those guys under his wing and just kind of speaking to them and giving them tips. And those guys grew up watching him and idolizing him, so they definitely were all ears and would listen. Um, he has a great collection of wine in the bubble. He had a
Yes.
fridge, wine fridge and stuff, and, he shared a lot, and um, he was I really enjoyed my time with Melo. Um, my Melo story that I have. So that my last year in Portland, we had to wear masks everywhere. So if you're on the bench, you had to wear a mask, and I was in charge of enforcing like this mask wearing, and so the NBA had my number, and so when they were watching the game, they would text me and be like, "Anthony Simons is not wearing a mask. Please let him know to wear a mask." Right? And so I would be like, "Aunt, I got a text message. Like, can you please put on your mask?" And then he would put it on. So Melo, I don't know. He turned it over, or something happened, and he got taken out of the game in the fourth quarter. And he is hot, like steam, like he was hot. And I got a text message from the NBA that says, Carmelo Anthony is not wearing a mask. Please tell him to wear a mask. And I was like, I looked at it and I looked at Gennaro and I was like, dude, should I go tell him Melo to go put on his mask? And Gennaro was like, I wouldn't if I were you. Do you see how hot he is right now? I was like, okay. So I didn't. And then 2 minutes later, the NBA again texted me and goes, please tell Carmelo Anthony to put on a mask because he's sitting in the front so they can see him, right?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So I texted them back and I was like, Melo just got taken out and he is not happy. So I am not going to tell him to put on a mask right now. But after the next timeout, I'll tell him, right? And then they said, okay. Right, because they got it. And then I have to go after the time. I have to go tell Melo like, "Hey, can you go put on a mask and everything?" And he's like, "What? I don't want to put on a mask." Like, all this stuff. Like, I'm like, "Hey, I got a text. Like me. It's not me. I don't care if you wear a mask right now, Melo. The NBA though needs you to wear a mask." So yeah,
That's awesome.
He was fine. He put on a mask and he was fine. But yeah, that's kind of the Melo story that I remember.
Was there a part of you that wanted to text back and say, "New phone, who dis?"
No, because like again, they did a great job of monitoring everything and making. I mean, their whole thing was they want to keep everyone safe, right?
Sure.
So they were doing everything that they could to do that. So if you I understood what they were trying to do, and I didn't take it like as an annoyance or anything, right? So I just was trying to do my part to make sure that we did what we were supposed to do.
Well, go for it, Fawad.
I was just gonna ask like one last little thing. One of my favorite Blazers of all time, honestly, one of my favorite players of all time is Ed Davis, and you mentioned a couple times like you're close to him. Any stories from there that I would love to hear anything, or like how often are you even in touch with him or something like that?
Yeah, I talk to Ed a lot still. So Ed actually he was at my wedding. He spoke at my wedding. So we're very close. Um, the thing about the story that I'm trying to think. I have a lot of stories of Ed. Um, let me see if maybe I'll do two stories about Ed. But the first thing about Ed is that before he came, I didn't really work out anybody, and Ed, he arrived in the summer and I saw him in the gym. So I was in the video room and I just walked out and, I was just rebounding for him and we were talking and stuff like that. And we got along right away. We just clicked right away. And so when the season came along and stuff, like, you break down who's going to work with every player. So this coach is going to work with these guys and this, and like I again didn't have anyone because it was only like my second or third year there, right? And Ed just really took a liking to me, and he went up to Coach Stotts and was like, "Hey, Yim's gonna work me out, and like I'm gonna be Yim's guy," and stuff like that. And to me, that really gave me a lot of confidence because, like, again, like someone was really trusting me to work him out and stuff like that. And I think it just gave me I think it showed a lot of the other players because Ed was held in such high regard that like if Ed was trusting me, that they could trust me also as a coach. And so I really felt like Ed doing that really helped me in my career, right? And so again, we talk about loyalty, like people giving you the first chance. So like I'm loyal to Terry and Neil and stuff. Like I'm
Mhm.
incredibly loyal to Ed because I know that that really helped me in my career. Um, and yeah, really just gave me a little bit of credibility, I guess, right? Um, Another story is just, like we're incredibly close. Like I consider Ed to be like one of my best friends, and so we get along a lot, and we've done a lot of fun things together, and we've gone out to dinner a lot, and um, it was important for him that to be at my wedding because I feel like we share in a lot of each other's big moments.
Hmm.
Um, when I remember I might have been the first person on the team that he told that he was having twins, right? I remember we were in Detroit at dinner, and he confided in me and shared that he's having twins. Um, and so, I think I was the first one in the hospital room when that happened and stuff. So yeah, I'm I just feel incredibly fortunate to have him as a friend, and someone that outside long after basketball is done, like, I always feel like we're gonna be family. So
Yeah.
That's
No.
he's a
awesome.
great person. Yeah, he's an incredible guy. He's down to earth. Great family. His mom, dad. So I love his wife. Now he has 4 kids.
Huh.
So yeah, it's incredible to just kind of see. When I met him, he didn't have any, and now he has 4. So yeah,
Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
yeah,
No. Ed Davis is a fan favorite. Dame loved Ed Davis, and I'm glad you have a close relationship with him as well because Ed Davis is awesome. So before we wrap it up, one thing we haven't even talked about is you are going to be going to New Zealand to be the head coach for the Sharks in New Zealand, and um, some people may not know that. So is there anything you wanted to talk about in regards to that at all?
no, I'm just looking forward to it. My goal is to be a head coach in the NBA one day. So I'm just trying to look for opportunities to showcase my abilities as a coach. And I thought that this was a real cool opportunity
Yeah.
that really presented itself, and like I'm really looking forward to it. Um, yeah, I really am looking forward to it. So
And
um,
when does that season start?
they start in March. I think our first game is March 13th or 14th. Um, yeah, I'm gonna head over there in the next couple weeks. They're opposite than us, so it's summer right
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
That'd be nice to kind of get back in. And then the city that I'm in is the southernmost city I think in the entire world.
Oh wow.
Yeah, the next stop is basically Antarctica.
That's
so
awesome.
so yeah, it's gonna. I'm really excited for it. We just kind of wrapping up free agency. One of the things that I've learned is I don't ever want to be like a general manager. I just want
Sure.
to coach.
Sure.
I really dislike talking to the agents and recruiting the players and negotiating these salaries and stuff like that. I just want to coach them.
Yeah.
So because for me, I'm like, yeah, you can have as much money as you want, and they're like, well, we have a salary cap. So like, oh, my bad. Um, but no, it's a really good opportunity. People can watch our games. They stream it on ESPN over here.
Oh,
Okay.
Um, so we'll be on ESPN Plus, I guess it's called, right?
Sure.
ESPN
Yep.
Plus.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's the NZNBL, and we're the Southland Sharks. So yeah, it'll be fun. Looking
And
we'll be
forward to
keeping
it.
tabs.
you said that started in March, you said?
Yeah, it starts in March. First game is March 13th.
Okay. Definitely will be keeping close eye on that then. John, I appreciate you so much taking time out of your day. I know you got the fires going on in California right now. We had a power outage mid talk, so I thank you so much for taking time and spending time with us and just talking about all the memories you have.
Yeah, for sure. I really appreciate you guys having me on. So you guys do a great podcast, and I've listened to a few of them and stuff like that.
Oh
So
wow.
yeah, I really appreciate. Portland has probably the best fans in the NBA, and they're so passionate, and love the team and stuff like that. So it was cool to kind of reminisce and go back through the memories.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we're gonna wrap it up. Everybody, March. Make sure you check out ESPN Plus. We gotta get some New Zealand Sharks games on. We gotta support Coach Yim here. John, thank you so much once again. Everyone that's listening, I hope you guys have a great day. And as always, Rip City, baby.